Hello, it's Rosstafa here, and we're playing the Dinosaur classes in Primal Carnage. As you can see, some of the character select screen has changed, and there's a lot more information of each class available now, and this goes for the humans too. We're playing a map here called Forest Chasm, which is one of two new maps uploaded because the game was released 2 days ago now, officially, so it's come out of beta, has 5 maps, whereas the beta only had 3. You can see that roar I did there. That basically every dinosaur has its own roar, and each one does different things. The Pteranodon's roar actually marks out targets near it. So essentially what you want to do is fly over areas where humans are, roar, and that'll mark them out. You'll see the orange eyes above it there. It does charge back quickly, so you can do it fairly often. One thing about this class is really fucking difficult, is actually grabbing people. You have to swoop down and get them at the right angle to pick them up and drop them. And countless times I get really close, but it's just so difficult to line up. And if you hit anything, or if you get too close to the ground, you'll come out of flight. So that can make it a real pain in the arse. The fact that the Pteranodons also don't have much health doesn't help. They're probably the most difficult class to play out of all of the dinosaur classes, but they are vital because without them you don't really know where the humans are. So you really do need a few Pteranodons all the time, and this guy fucking kills me. The one bad thing about Carnotaurus is they will just headbutt you off cliffs. So yeah, let's try the Raptor instead. This is the actually the Raptor skin that you get if you pre-order the game. It's quite a nice feathered Raptor. It's the only feathered Raptor design I've actually liked. All the other ones just end up making them look like giant chickens, which I suppose they were, but you know. Raptors are probably one of the most popular classes. I've gone in and literally everyone will choose Raptors over T-Rexes. I'll find a whole team of dinosaurs made up of Raptors. Basically their primary ability is pounce, which you pounce onto an enemy, pin them down to the ground and shake their head until they die. It takes a few seconds to kill them, so in that time other humans can obviously shoot you off them and kill you, so you're quite vulnerable. So the best thing to do is pick off humans that are alone, or make sure you attack, if you're going to attack them in groups, make sure you're supported by other dinosaurs. They are quite fun to play though. The roar actually increases your melee attack power, so your basic attack is just a claw sort of bite slash thing, and the roar speeds it up and increases the damage, but it reduces your stamina all the way, so you won't be able to do your pounce attack. So you want to pick and choose when you do that. You can pounce quite far, but it can be a bit difficult to lock on. And one thing I have noticed is that the pounce can be a little bit buggy. Sometimes they get knocked off for no reason whatsoever. Like quite often Carnotaurus will knock you off if they run into you, but I've pounced on people and had no one around me, and then I'll get knocked off them, and so they have a chance to fight back, which can be a bit annoying. They're not quite as difficult to lock on as the Pteranodons are. There is a degree of auto lock. You don't have to get it exactly on, whereas the Pteranodons you really have to pay more attention to where you're aiming. I really enjoy playing the Raptors though. They're probably the most fun class to play next to the Carnotaurus. The fact that they're so fast and you can dart in and out, and they're a swift assault class basically. Your general assault class, they're not so great at against trappers, because trappers can obviously pin them in mid-pounce, and once you're pinned you're useless. So you want to watch out for trappers. Take them out fairly quickly if you can, but make sure they haven't seen you, because if they see you and they can get a net out, you're fucked basically. And they shoot fast. So now we're playing the Dilophosaurus. Again, the Dilophosaurus is a support class. It uses, like the films, the Jurassic Park films, if you remember that, they spat venom out. Though there's no proof of that that they actually did that. In this game they do it as well, and you can see I'm just spitting venom out everywhere, and that blinds them. You see that guy's turn purple, that means that I'm covered in venom. If they have, like the guy next to them, then that means they haven't been affected. The one bad thing about the Dilos is they have really low health and low attack power, so you're not really a damage dealing class, you're a support class. You run in, cover them in venom, and then run off. You can take out enemies on their own, but if there's a group, you generally want to just dart in, cover them with venom, and run out again. And that gives you your other team members enough time to attack them without being seen, basically, because their vision will be completely obscured. It's basically the Dinosaur's equivalent of the flare. And then, you know, you can see here that I'm going down quite quickly, just because of how low hit points they have, and I can't really do much damage to take them out fast enough. The Raptor has more hit points than the Dilophosaurus, and I think so it has more than the Pteranodon as well, I think. They're quite fun to play, but again, like the Pteranodon, they are a little bit challenging. You've got to get over the idea of going in for kills, because the Pteranodons and the Dilophosaurs, while they are capable of it, they are support classes more than they are killing classes, and so you have to keep that in mind when you're playing them. If you want to go out and get kills, play the Raptor, the Tyranno, or the Carnotaur. These two are there to make things easier on everyone else. They're especially useful if you're going into a huge bunch of humans, because quite often what they'll do is they'll all, especially on this map, there's a few rocky outcrops that stick out of all the ferns, and so by going up on those, humans, as you can see here, can get a bit of view of things. The good idea to do is basically run up on there, spit some venom at them, and jump off again. That way the other players can all see that they're covered in venom, and it's going to be a less risky attack for them to just rush in. There is actually a ledge next to where those humans just were. There's a ledge that the Dilophosaurs can actually jump up onto, and it's very hard to shoot them as a human, so they can essentially snipe down at anyone on that ledge, and providing you're careful, you can't actually get shot. And I just got killed by the commando. Nice. Let's try the Pteranodon again, because I really need to practice it with this class. I know how they work, I know what the attacks are, but they're just quite difficult to play. I see people like grabbing and pulling people up, just left, right and centre, but I just can't do it. You see, I'm just flying over, using my roar to mark all the enemies, and then just backing out. And I shouldn't really be going in for kills here, but you know, I'm a risk taker. See, they just go down like a sack of shit when they're under fire because they've got such low health. At least with the Raptor you can dart in and out very quickly, and it's very hard to get a lock onto them. With the Pteranodon, they're a lot more cumbersome, especially on the ground. If you get caught out on the ground, you're screwed. It can be a bit tricky to actually fly as well. Basically what you've got to do is jump and then press the sprint button, whatever you've got that set to. And while in flight, you press down to actually dive down. If you don't want to dive down, you just only press the left and right buttons, because otherwise you'll end up going up and down without meaning to. You can also dive, fly faster, etc. Once you get used to the controls, they can be quite fun to play, but still fairly challenging. It would be cool to see some more designs for this Pteranodon, because I don't really like it. It's a nice design, but it just, I imagine something a bit more bird-like, maybe like looking like a seagull or something. But the developers do have plans to add more skins to the game in the future, so we'll see what they do. As you can see, the Raptor skin I've got there, it just says change skin underneath, and you can go and play the vanilla one if you want. I personally prefer this one to the vanilla version. They're both nice, but there aren't many feathered dinosaurs in games now, because there's still something that the public are getting used to. Going from these big scary reptiles to essentially giant chickens is going to take some getting used to. Hollywood is trying to find ways around it. If you watch Jurassic Park 3, they just added quills onto it, even though we know velociraptors were far more feathered than that. So yeah, that's the two support classes and one basic assault class. And this next match is on a map called The Falls, and again it's one of the 2 new maps that was released with the game. This class is the Carnotaurus, which is the most fun class of all to play. It's essentially a charger class, and it was actually brought in by public demand. People on the forums wanted to see the Carnotaurus put in game, and developers actually put it in there for them. You can see you have a basic short range headbutt which can send people flying, though that is quite difficult to use because you're not very mobile when you do it. And they're not as armoured as a T-Rex, so they don't have tons of health, so you still have to be very careful even though they've got more than the Raptors. But yeah, the class that was originally going to be in it instead of the Carnotaurus were the Compies. I don't know exactly how they would have worked, but rumour has it it would essentially be like you'd control a pack, and every time one of those died you'd take control of another member in that pack until they all died out. And so you'd control them all at once, but they would sort of follow you, if you know what I mean. I'm personally glad they put the Carnotaurus in instead. I'm not sure whether the Compy one would have worked out quite so well. And it's just fun to just charge into people and send them flying as the Carno. You do have to watch your stamina bar, the little yellow bar on the bottom left of the screen. Yeah, as you can see there, really fun to get sending people flying. But you have to watch your stamina bar because that gets used up as you charge. So you don't want to just charge everywhere. You want to pick your moments. When you see you've got a clear run, go for it. But don't just charge around anywhere because otherwise you're going to get caught with your pants down. So watch your stamina bar, and that really goes for any of the classes. More so the T-Rex, the Raptor and the Carno. The T-Rex, I'll tell you why in a minute. The Raptor obviously has about 2 pounces for the stamina bar, and then you have to wait for it to recharge, so you obviously want to be careful you're not pouncing too much. The Carno's Roar, basically what it does is it means that when you charge into people, the damage that you do is reduced slightly, but you get a little bit of health from anyone that you hit when you charge. So it's a little bit useful if you're coming back on a second run and you've taken a bit damage from the first, to just turn around, hit your roar and then charge back through again, because when you come out, providing you don't take a lot of damage going through, you should have a little bit more health coming back. They're not a heavy class, they're heavier in comparison to the others, but they will go down fairly quickly under enemy fire. What used to happen, as you can see I've been netted there, what used to happen is that you'd get slowed down. They updated the game so you no longer get slowed down. You aren't impeded at all really, which is kind of good to be honest. I mean, I can't see a Carnotaurus getting that bothered by a net. As you can see, my health is going down fairly quickly. I'm kind of just letting this guy die so you can see the T-Rex class, but we're not going to be that lucky. As you can see, you need a certain amount of players. I think it's 8 players, and one of those can be a T-Rex. So for every 8 players you get a T-Rex. So obviously the bigger the game, you can have 2-3 T-Rexes at once, and that gets fucking mental. And they're big, so you can see them from far away, as you can see there. But the Carno's, to be honest, probably more fun than the T-Rex, even though it doesn't have as much health. And I got stuck in the tree there, which is awesome. Though this game is officially out of beta and it's been released, there are still a few glitches here and there that need to be fixed. Though to be honest, it's fairly smooth, and a few people were saying on the forums that it's too early for them to release the game and they should have kept it beta longer, but to be honest, I don't really see the big deal. I think it's been fairly fluid and pretty good quality. Are we going to get T-Rex? Yes, we are. So this is T-Rex class, the tank of the game. It's really fun to play, but again, don't get lured into the false sense of security that you are unstoppable. Now, saying that, I'm about to get a bunch of kills with it, but if you get caught in front of a bunch of humans and they unload on you, you're gonna go down. So you want to pick your moments, conserve your health, The good thing about T-Rex is whenever you kill someone, you do get health from eating them. And you can kill someone just by walking over them and stepping on them. So you see my health will go up just a little bit, but I'm on fire, so it's kind of hard to notice. But it does make them last a bit longer in battle. The good thing though is you really have to have other dinosaurs supporting you, because otherwise it's essentially wasting the class. The purpose of the other dinosaurs, like the Pteranodons and the Dilophosaurs, is that they support the Tyrannosaur. The Tyrannosaur is kind of like World of Warcraft, you know, you have healers and you have DPS. The Tyrannosaur is the tank, you don't get any healers, but you have your support and then you have your damage. They all need to support the tank. If the T-Rex goes in alone, they're going to get taken out and it's a waste. Because they're the ones that are going to be getting loads of kills, doing lots of damage, and when you win. They essentially just eat people, that's what they do. They don't really have any other special attacks. You just have to walk over people, eat them, and try not to die. They're fairly easy to play, as long as you, again, watch your stamina as well, because you need to sprint in and out of action, and if you get stuck out in the open, you've got no stamina and people are shooting at you, you're going to end up going down. So make sure you don't completely waste it out. Have a break, and yeah, as you can see I just stomped on someone. I didn't actually eat them. Have a break when you can't see anyone, just walk around and don't charge everywhere. Because stamina is, you really need to conserve it. It's the same with humans really, they have a limited amount, you can only sprint for a short distance. With the dinosaurs it's even more precious because your attacks rely on it. Not so much in the T-Rex's case, but definitely in the case of the Carnos and the Raptors. As you see, it's pretty easy to get quite a high kill streak with them, but they are still, in maps where you've got say 20 v 20 players, they're not as hardy. In this match there are fewer humans and they're a bit more spread out, so I can get quite a lot of kills just by running in, grabbing one or two and then running away again. But I'm still not invincible, so you have to be careful, especially when facing a huge bunch of enemies. If you're on a map where there's 8 or so people in one area, if you haven't got any dinosaurs with you, don't attack them, because you'll go down. If they net you or trank you, then you'll get slowed down too much and you'll just end up getting killed. So pick your fights carefully, don't get lured into the false sense of security that you're an unstoppable killing machine, because while they might have been in real life, they're not in this. I should also add that there's plans to add an NPC T-Rex in the game, apparently, called Big Daddy. Essentially it will be a neutral NPC that will go around the map and just kill things. It's supposed to be the biggest dinosaur on this island that the story is based on, and all the other T-Rexes are cloned from it or something. But Big Daddy is the oldest one, the biggest one. So I'm not sure whether it would target dinosaurs or dinosaurs and humans, but it would make an interesting game type. Perhaps they could make it so it's sort of like a timed boss. One round, you know, the humans are trying to kill the Big Daddy and the dinosaurs trying to protect it, and the next round it's the other way round, and whoever kills it the fastest wins. So that might be an interesting game type, because obviously there's only Team Deathmatch available in the beta at the moment. It can be a bit samey, and I do want more content already, but it's so fun that I think it will be enjoyable for a while, at least until they add the DLC, which apparently is going to be free as well. Considering how cheap the game is, it's really worth it. I basically was trying to die then because, you know, we had nothing T-Rex. I'll show you some other things. Let's go out to the Carno. What we're doing there? They're doing pretty well on the old kills. But yeah, there's all sorts of plans that they have in the works to add new skins. Possibly something like the workshop for Team Fortress, where people submit skins and then they get voted on and possibly added to the game. I think that's one thing that they're thinking about. There will be new skins though. People are already making some. There were modding tools available, but I don't think they're on it. New game types are obviously planned, new maps. there's lots of things that people are asking for, so it'll be interesting to see what actually makes it the game. But so far, I'm loving it. There's not much to it, but the beauty is in its simplicity. So we'll see how the game does. I think it has the potential to be really, really good. If you like Left 4 Dead and Team Fortress, you should definitely pick this up because it's not that expensive, and I don't think you'll regret paying for it. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. If you want to see any more Primal Carnage, just holler out. Please share, like, and subscribe and all that shit. Cheers.